Oh, I don't have the comments pulled up. Hello, everybody. Oh, there's everybody. I had the wrong tab pulled up. Welcome to the Literally Dead Book Club live show. We're talking today about Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. Just some quick housekeeping things. Next month, we're reading With a Vengeance.
Ooh.
So look forward to this live show. And my lovely co-host here today, I just wanted to quickly let you know, Jordaline and I recently did a live show about Victorian Psycho on her Patreon. So if you want to join, this is a thing, we discuss it. It was an interesting discussion. And then Gabby and I, in just a couple of days, are talking about Immaculate Conception on her channel. So look forward to that. But first, I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. I like to hear your name. And what is it? Like your recent favorite mystery thriller or horror book. This is Jordaline's first time here, I'm pretty sure. So we like to make the newbies do the synopsis part so then we don't have to. That's your initiation. So after you introduce yourself, you can get right into the pitch of it if you like.
Nice. Hi, well, my name is Gabby. My channel is Gabby Reads. Some recent faves that I've had, I think Julie Chan is Dead is like my favorite thriller that I've read so far this year. And Kayla, I actually think you would like this one. It's pretty unhinged.
I've gone back and forth if I want to read this or not. People tell me I'm going to hate it. People tell me I'm going to love it. I don't know.
Well, I usually don't like twin stuff in thrillers. That's usually like, and then I usually don't like influencer stuff in thrillers. And this had both of that. But I still loved it. It was great. And then I also loved When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy is also one of my favorite horror books of the year. And it really surprised me. Like this was just like also crazy bonkers. So I had a really good time with those.
I'm gonna read that for Summerween, I think.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect for Summerween.
I hope I don't hate it. I'm scared.
I think there's a good chance that you would like that one too.
Okay. When the Wolf Comes Home?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I'm Jordaline from Jordaline Reads. I haven't finished this book, but I am currently reading it. I had to take a break to read the book that we're going to talk about. So I haven't finished it yet, but that is Blood on Her Tongue.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is so fucking good. It's crazy. It's like Victorian, Gothic, vampires, lesbianism. Need I say more? Like all I want is a lesbian that's also a vampire.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It seems like most people here read it. I think what I've seen is people have DNF'd it, but it doesn't feel like, at least people who were talking about it on Fable, they're not looking to be convinced to finish it. They're just like over it and they want us to spoil it for them. So that's why they're here.
Nice.
Okay, maybe I'll have to read this one too. I was thinking about doing a video that's like kind of cannibalism books because that one feels kind of on the side of cannibalism. Is there more just vampires? Or is that the same thing?
It's like, I mean, I would argue that it's kind of the same thing, but like in like a different dress, you know? But it's weird and like unsettling. And so far hasn't been too gory. But lesbian.
Yeah, that's the selling point.
I've seen people tag this as cannibalism too, and I'm like, I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
No.
No.
Okay, go ahead and pitch this for us, Jordaline.
Okay, so Eat the Ones You Love is about this girl named Shell. I honestly kind of think that she's giving like chaotic evil, but that's just me. So she's like a bisexual. So that means that she's not knowing what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's doing at all. She just found her boyfriend. She's like kind of happy about it because it didn't seem like their relationship was really going anywhere. It kind of seemed like it was Dullsville. And so she moves back home. And it's also set in Ireland. And so she's living with her parents and her family, and she goes to the mall to hand out resumes. And she goes into this like florist shop because of this sign that says help needed. And she sees this woman and she's like, that's the most perfect woman I've ever seen in my entire life. I need that woman in my life, like immediately, like today, yesterday, and tomorrow. And so she starts working there with this girl, the manager, whose name is Neve. And like they immediately obviously like are so into each other. So it's like kind of lesbo, but there's also like a secret that Neve has. Like she has like this weirdo orchid thing that's kind of sentient. And by kind of sentient, it is the sentient. and so this orchid immediately infiltrates Shell and is like, that's my girl. I'm going to get Shell to help me with what I need. He kind of like grooms her without her really knowing. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
That is the plot. You got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see you keep wanting to keep going. And I was like, ooh, but spoilers. Okay, I like to give our rating and like a one sentence to kind of sum it up, but spoiler free, to help anybody who's coming here early, to help them decide like if they want to read it or not. So the comments, feel free to share your rating at this point. I actually wanted to guess Gabby and Jordaline's rating today. I don't know why. Gabby just told me that she already posted a vlog with her rating, so everyone else already knows. But Jordaline just finished it and hasn't said it anywhere, right? Okay. No. Before you started talking about it, I was gonna say I think Jordaline loved it and gave it 5 stars. But then I don't know, the way you told the synopsis, I don't know if it was really like, this is my new favorite book. So now I'm thinking Jordaline gave it a 4 and Gabby gave it like, I don't know. As I was reading it, I was like, Gabby's not gonna like this. So I think Gabby gave it like I want to say a 2. Hopefully it's not a 1. but maybe we all loved it instead. Tell me, please. I'm scared.
So yeah, you're on the money. I give it a 2.
Okay.
It honestly feels a little bit generous a 2 though, because I didn't really like much about this at all.
No.
And in fact, I was mostly lost while I was reading this. I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. Head in the clouds, didn't feel connected to anything. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really work for me, sadly.
Oh no. Okay.
Honestly, the first half, 5 stars. I was living, laughing, loving, crying, screaming, throwing up. And then the end, I was like, that was bullshit. And so I gave it 3.5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you're so close. Wait, what do we think Kayla gave it? What do we think Kayla gave it before?
Okay, so this is the thing. Anything I love, Kayla will hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the middle means.
So we're thinking like she gave it around like 2 to 3 stars, like somewhere in there.
Or it could be crazy and she could be like obsessed with it.
She could be like, it's 5 stars.
She could be like, this is the best book I've ever read. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think honestly it's either like a 1 star or it's a 5 star for Kayla.
Oh wow.
I think it's between 2.5 and 3 stars. That's my final prediction.
I'm gonna go with Gabby.
Okay. So we established recently in a live show with me and Jordaline that we have such opposite tastes in horror sometimes, where if she loves something, I hate it, etc. Today, guess what? We completely aligned, and it was a 3.5.
Oh shoot!
When I finished it, I was like, I could sit here and I could think about reasons that I appreciate it. Okay, I appreciate it more than I like it. That's my official stance. That's my sentence. At the end of the day, I wanted some bigger feelings from it. I wanted to feel like it was really funny and satirical, or I wanted it to be more gruesome and gory. And I didn't have any like big reaction to it. And so for that, I thought it was good enough to finish.
Yeah.
What's your guys' sentence? Or did you already share? No. Do you have a reason?
Like I wouldn't have wanted to finish it if it wasn't for this live show, I guess. So that's the difference, I guess, there.
Wait, I feel so bad because Gabby's doing like a million live shows this week. She has readathons, and now it's like, come here and hang out for me for an hour. Talk about what you don't like.
You're good. I'm happy to talk. You know, I wish I hated it more though, because I kind of agree with what you said about how like I appreciate it. I just didn't like it. So it's like, it's not even a book that I want to roast because like it wasn't bad. I just didn't like it. And I feel like that's kind of worse because like I don't even have that much to say about it. You know, I'm like, it's just fine.
Okay. I guess that's what Jordaline's saying too. Like you said the second half you thought was bullshit, or the ending. I'm interested to know exactly how you feel about like all of that.
I would say it was beautiful, but anticlimactic.
Okay.
Also heteronormative, and I didn't like that.
I wasn't expecting how not queer it was.
Yeah, because it was like there was like, listen up, lesbians, like this is your chance, like, and then there was nothing. There's no lesbians in it. Sorry, is that a spoiler?
No, I don't think so. Okay, getting into spoilers. What's my first question? I think I put this first because like this is the one positive that I have to say is the setting.
Yeah.
I personally really liked the setting of this book. I liked the abandoned mall vibes. I thought that it was good and atmospheric. I'm thinking setting as far as like physical location, but also we can talk about setting as time, like when it was set. And I have some thoughts about that, but I'd like to hear how you felt about the setting.
Question, did they say when it was set? Like, was it set in a specific time period?
Well, it was like Instagram and
so it was like modern day.
Yeah, it was definitely modern day. I feel like it took place during the early days of COVID. And I felt like it was having a lot of like commentary on COVID, but then wasn't COVID, never mentioned COVID.
Right.
And I thought that was an interesting thing that it could have done differently.
Yeah, I think I would agree that like the setting was definitely like my favorite aspect of the book. Like I really did like the creepy, almost like abandoned mall kind of feel to it. I also love that the end papers had the kind of like creepy mall vibe. I feel like that really like added to at least being able to visualize things for me. So the setting was probably the strongest aspect of the book for me.
Yeah. I really liked the setting. I thought it was also interesting that it was set in Ireland. I was like, ooh, this is different.
Yeah.
Have grocery stores.
Was it post lockdown? Yeah, I guess it was. It was. COVID was definitely like a part of it. I felt like as I was reading, I wanted it. And I don't say this very often because I don't really want a COVID-centric book, but it was talking about a lot of things that felt very COVID. Like just the fact that the mall and the characters in it were really highlighting stores that either were really focused on like things we couldn't do during the early days of the pandemic. Like you couldn't go to the hair salon and that's what one of the characters was doing. You couldn't go to the travel agent because you weren't traveling. So you had a character doing that. Or it was like the businesses that still existed were all about kind of connection. It was like you still had the radio station going. And because the mall was so abandoned, I felt like it could have been really solidly set during the early days of COVID when like people were desperate for connection and they couldn't really find it. I don't know. I either would have liked it to be more set in a specific time, or I like horror that is really ambiguous and you have no idea when it's set. And so I think I would have also liked if it had no references to technology or anything and it was a little more leaning towards the surreal side.
Yeah. Also like the 9 vape shops in the mall. I thought that was a nice touch.
It's very real.
Made it feel more modern for sure.
Okay, how did you feel? I have a couple questions about like the cast of characters. Like, did you have a favorite person? Who did you want to hear more from? But I just want to know how you felt about the size of the cast in general and like who the story was kind of focused on. Because I think that's where I struggled a little bit with the book.
Yeah, I didn't like necessarily love the size of the cast of the characters. Like I didn't mind it, but I would have been fine if the story was just like our main 3 with like Shell and Nev and the baby plant or whatever. Like I would have been fine with just those 3 main characters, and I was getting a little lost in the sauce with some of the side characters. I was like, who is this? But I thought it was fine. I think the most interesting thing for me was getting the plants perspective, and I was also a little bit confused with the perspective, but I was listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook kind of does, I think, do a better job of like, because the narrator changes when it's like the plant or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, I didn't really feel attached to any of the characters though, so I didn't really have any favorites.
I really liked the size of it. I was like, I really liked the gay hairdresser. I hated Shell. She just like, girl, get it together. Oh my God. You're like 30 fucking 4. Like, Jesus. And then also like her, I didn't like Shell. But I also really like Jen though as well. Like the ex-girlfriend. I loved the email exchanges that she had with Beck. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Danica as far as I would have liked to know more about Beck. Because Beck turned out to be a really significant character. She was with Jen in the end and like taking down the whole operation, you know? I think as far as the cast of characters, I liked how many we had, but maybe I would have liked if it felt more like an ensemble and we were getting all of them equally. So we did get more of Beck. We did get more of Daniel was my favorite. And I liked how Daniel was like talked about. just as a character, I liked his introduction, and then he wasn't really a major part of the plot. I didn't like the friend group, but I don't think you're supposed to. So that was definitely effective. As far as Shell's like personal growth and finding, you know, herself and seeing herself bloom. I liked that she got to get away from the friend group. I don't know if I liked here's what I think. I think that Sarah Maria Griffin fell in love with Jen as she was writing the book. And didn't know she would be such a central character, because just getting her correspondence didn't really feel authentic to be like how much she was going to be a part of the plot in the end. So I think I would have liked either more correspondence, like the whole thing was told in emails and like documents and like interviews and stuff, or for them all to just have a more traditional narrative and we were bouncing between the two, because we started out getting to know so much about Shell and then it really wasn't about her by the end. I don't feel it was more about like Jen and what she was accomplishing.
Yeah,
wasn't it such an odd choice too, with the whole like only getting the emails, because like we only saw the emails from Jen to Beck, right? But we never saw any correspondence, and I was just wondering like why that was, because every time we were getting those emails I was like, what is the point of this? Like I was so lost.
I wanted to know what Beck said. I was like,
can't we read both sides? Like what is
going on?
I think it was like kind of implied what Beck was responding with, but I would have liked to read it. But maybe that's something like in the editing process that was kind of removed because it felt redundant. I imagine. Like,
scrap it.
Yeah, this is also something I want to talk about as far as the setting. Is it being inspired by Little Shop of Horrors? Me and my channel members watched it. I've rewatched it because it was such an iconic movie from my childhood, and I felt like there was obvious inspirations, like you have a man-eating plant, and you have somebody who is being manipulated into helping that plant. Obviously, it's set in a flower shop, but I didn't feel like there were very many other similarities, especially the tone. I was expecting the tone of Little Shop of Horrors, which is just very stupid, very self-aware and very fun and quirky. And I didn't feel like this leaned into that the way that I would have liked.
Yeah, there was no murdering dentist.
Right. There was a dentist mentioned, but it was just like somebody who knew a dentist. It wasn't like he was murdering a dentist. I needed that.
Yeah. Not enough camp. That's such a good point. Not enough camp.
No, not enough horror.
Yeah. Also
I think that they were dancing around the big part of this. This is a mystery thriller horror book club. I once again have selected a book that is not horror. It's lightly fantastical. It's surreal. There is some scenes that are very gruesome about the plant consuming someone. There's like a little bit of that. But yeah, tonally not so much.
Even when the plant was consuming people, it was more like emotionally charged.
Yeah.
The body horror. It was like I felt her feelings.
Yeah. And it was like brief.
Horror. It was so brief.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, I want to be inside her. We come together. I was like, what are we talking about? Okay. Do you have any favorite scenes or quotes to share with the class?
I don't have any like specific scenes, but one of my favorite like things I guess that happened in the plot is I liked the idea of like the plant being able to like infect people with its touch or whatever that was, when like Shell started to notice that she's like growing like moss or like leaves on her hands. Like that visual was something that really worked for me in the story. But otherwise, like I can't think of any specific scenes or quotes.
I like dog-eared a page or two, but the issue is I dog-eared the page, but I didn't mark what part of the page the quote was on. And I thought, in my delusional head, I was like, I could just like bing, bang, boom, it'll be there. I'll just pick it out. Not what's happening. Or maybe it was, no, I don't remember. The whole book is written beautifully. I will say that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the writing, even though it was more like emotionally charged with how Baby was like impacting people's minds more so than their bodies. I think all of the quotes about how he felt, I kind of liked. Like there was one I jotted down: while she slept, I began my work inside of her, building a garden. I was like, oh, that's weird. I liked that. I liked the quote that was about Shell, and it said that she would become somebody out of the shadow of her old life. she would stand tall and emit light so powerful, blah, 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 blah. I think my favorite scene was the one where the plant was eating Jen. Even though I feel like they took it back the next page, which I really need to talk about, because like she was suddenly alive, even though it like objectively said her body was consumed totally by me. And then it said she was dead. And then the next page was like, and she was fine. And I'm like, I want to really decipher what happened in that scene. If anybody has any thoughts of like what was really going on. I
think this is why I was so lost while I was reading it. I was like, what is going on? Like, I can't follow.
Maybe it was like a metaphor, like
a dream.
It was a dream.
It was a dream.
The plant dreamed.
I guess what I was thinking, I think everyone's favorite maybe was Jen was eaten, because that's what we were all waiting for. I wanted more death. I wanted more gruesome of him like killing people, because we got references.
I will say though, I actually really liked the part where Nev was eaten or consumed, became part of the plant. I thought that was a beautiful part.
Yeah,
it was like the only body horror in the entire book.
Maybe Baby thought she was dead, but Baby's actually stupid. This is a theory that I like, because there are moments in the book that I think we are meant to interpret Baby as being more thinking that he's better than he actually is, or thinking he's more all-knowing than he actually is, because he'll reference things about like he knows everything and he's so all-powerful and he can consume anyone he wants. But then there's also references of like he can't actually be let in unless somebody like wants to be a part of him. And I think in that moment we're maybe not supposed to believe his perspective when he's saying like he completely consumed her. Maybe that wasn't real. I don't know. Or maybe it's because in that moment she was dreaming about Neve. And because of that, like that's what saved her. Was it totally Jen who came back? She ended up rescuing Baby to experiment on at the end. So was it a Baby Jen hybrid? That's also a great point. Was it really Jen, or is Jen also part of Baby? Because Jen saves the plant at the end, which I guess I want to go to. Like, did the explanations satisfy? Which is like, I want to know, did you like how it explained where Baby came from, or who Baby is, or how Baby's accomplishing this? But also, did the ending satisfy you as far as like Jen keeping a part of Baby, and the mall collapsing, Neve dying, and her taking the plant with her and like caring for it? Is that something that you enjoyed about the book?
I didn't really have any strong feelings about the ending. I was just like, all right, I guess that's how it ends. I think all I took away from the ending is like mall burned down, Nev died, and then Jen like sends her some kind of drug that makes her think about her again or something. And I was like, is this part of the plant, or like what is this? I was a little bit lost, I think, by the ending. So if there was some kind of meaning or significance from the ending, it was lost on me, to be honest.
Honestly, the ending was pretty balls. I didn't like it.
Yeah, what did you hate about it?
Okay, the whole thing where it's like Shell and Nev are obsessed with each other. Obsessed. But the entire time, the narrative is like, but she's gonna fuck Kiro.
Yeah.
What? And then the plant is like, I have all of these plans. And then it's like, it's just a ring. It's just you have vines, my guy. What do you mean? You needed permission to take the ring? You could have just taken the ring. Like, no. And then also it just felt like the ending was like really rushed. Like it was just like, oh, I slept with Kiro and now the book is ending. Because Jen saved the day. Go Jen. Shell had nothing to do with it. Shell was literally just like a puppet.
Yeah, Shell became definitely not like the main character by the end.
No.
I think Jen keeping I expected because there was a moment where they were talking about how baby doesn't like salt, and I was expecting a big like scene where they're pouring salt on baby and baby's like burning up, and that's how I expected it to end. So I guess like part of me likes the fact that the book played with my expectations and Jen ended up saving the plant in the end. But now it's such a good point that somebody said maybe Jen and baby are a hybrid, because maybe that is why Jen took baby and saved baby and is like keeping baby away, is because she is now part of baby. Like baby has kind of infiltrated her a little bit. I didn't really consider that. I did like the whole mall collapsing. I don't know that I like Neve dying.
No.
Because I don't know what kind of message that really sends, because she's an abused individual. The entire book is as if we're reading from the perspective of an abusive man. I actually found it a little trying to be in his perspective for as long as we were.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, yeah, I'm fucked up. I hate you and I'm going to ruin your life. And like, we're going to be together forever. And I was like, this is really rough. So I think maybe if there was more evidence that Neve was like still an entity at the end, because I don't think that was really proven. We understood through some of the narrative and people's perspectives, their perception was that Neve is a part of baby now, and that's why Jen wanted to save the plant. But there's no actual evidence of that. I reread the ending, and there is no evidence that Neve's spirit is actually a part of baby. There was no like she's not mind communicating with people now that she's a part of baby. So I don't know how I feel about the ending. As I was reading it, I was like, I don't think I like it.
Yeah.
But maybe I appreciate it, but maybe I don't.
It's just a little bit convoluted. Like, do I have to think that hard? Like, can you just tell me what happened? Like, just tell me what happened.
I know. And speaking of the abusive relationship thing, I saw this review that was on Washington Independent Review Books, because if there was any kind of like deeper meaning or metaphor, it was totally lost on me while I was reading it. But after like looking it up, I saw this review saying, at the heart of the story, this isn't just a monster story of body horror, it's a tale about an abusive relationship. The evil masculine coded baby maintains control over Nev and Shell, knowing they're not willing participants with classic abuser strategies, how he infiltrates people's bodies and thoughts through his pollen, and when close enough, sends filaments through their skin. Once he's in, he's able to see and sense what they sense. And just kind of talking about how like this is all a metaphor for like an abusive relationship. And I really didn't see it that way while I was reading it, but I was like, oh wow, like that's a really interesting way to look at it after. So I think it helped me make sense of the story a little bit more after the fact.
I mean, he controlled everything about them. Like he was like, oh yeah, you guys can be together, or Shell can be with Kiro, that's fine. Like he was very
and the story being told like mostly from his point of view is almost like him controlling the narrative in some way. Like that's interesting.
That's why I think he wasn't supposed to be completely reliable, because there was even moments where we were getting Shell's thought process, but through baby. And I found myself thinking, is this actually what she's thinking, or is it how baby is interpreting what she's thinking? Because there were moments where she was saying like, oh, I am, there were moments where she was like self-deprecating, but there was also moments where she felt really egotistical through his eyes, that she was really important, that she was better than other people. And I was like, is that actually what she's thinking? Or is he already predisposed to not liking her? And so he's interpreting her thoughts as more pompous than she really is. There was one line that I really liked that he said, I found a way to crawl through the O of her no. And I was like, that is the abusive relationship on paper. It's like he's just trying to find a way to fuck with her.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to read some people's thoughts. In my mind, Jen is the new Neve. Baby needed someone to survive it, and it already ate Neve. That makes sense. I don't think she needed to die. Didn't add anything. Yeah, it's tough because I think the book needed to end with a death, but I think Sarah Maria Griffin was too attached to Jen by the end to make her die, when it felt like her and Beck were going to be the ones at the end who died, and she just couldn't do it because Jen became such a important part of the story.
Wait, if you could choose to kill off one of the other characters other than Nev, who would you choose?
I mean, if Baby was an option.
I think Baby should have died at the end, but I think Baby should have eaten all of her stupid friends first.
Yeah. Like we could have had a bigger ending, with Baby eating all the friends and then somebody killing Baby, like for good, like that kind of ending.
Yeah, she didn't go anywhere. Pause.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there was like some overlap at times. That was like weird.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I did see on Fable a couple people were saying they really liked the audiobook.
The audiobook is great. The narrators do a really good job.
Oh, people wanted Kiro to die. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what point did he serve besides distracting her from the hot woman?
From lesbianism. And if that's not homophobia, I don't know what is. Like, also, I'm sorry, the age gap is fucking weird. What? Bro. He was 23 and she's like 30. Like, no, that's weird. That's weird.
I don't think I actually clocked that he was that young. Maybe I missed it or I wasn't paying attention.
He's like in his early 20s.
Yeah, that is.
She's in her 30s.
I do also think it does make sense that Neve died, like, because like that's just that's the progression of this relationship. And but I think that because certain people lived at the end, that was the author giving us like some light and some hope, because like just ending this with everybody dying, while it would have been fun to read, wouldn't have been very like hope filled, I guess.
Do you think it was like karmic justice where the author was like, Nev did some pretty fucked up shit. She kind of has to atone for it in some way. Yeah, but she did help murder people.
But she was manipulated the whole time, right?
And she was a lesbian. Like,
I'm just thinking in the Little Shop of Horrors movie, like it's not, there's no mind stuff. Like it's not, the plant is not convincing someone to help. It's just like they feel threatened and so then they help. But in this case, like anything that Neve does, I feel like is solely because Baby was controlling her, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, other than
she did lose, was it her aunt? Her mom? Her aunt. Her aunt. So I guess maybe Baby kind of replaced that familiar figure in her life, because that was like her last, I think that was her last family member.
Yeah.
It was.
Theme-wise, I think that's a great thing to bring up, is the fact that, like, yes, this obviously was about abuse, but it's also just like how abuse happens, and that's by somebody pushing themselves into your life and taking your vulnerability and taking advantage of that. And like, you don't have anyone, I'm going to be that for you. I'm going to be everything to you.
I'm going to isolate you.
Any other themes the chat would like to talk about?
I don't know if it's necessarily a theme, but like the whole feeling of like feeling directionless in life, where you know, like how Shell, like at the start of the book, she like had just lost her job and just lost her fiance and like moving back in with her parents and just kind of like trying to get back on her feet again. I feel like that could be a theme of like when you're feeling directionless in life, maybe you're a little bit more I don't know, like people could take advantage of that, or you know, like you're more impressionable during that time.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say heteronormativity.
Unexpected heteronormativity.
Does that qualify as a theme?
Unfortunately, I think it was here. Yeah, isolation, attachment. Neve was attached to Baby, and all the workers were attached to the mall. Yeah, the mall itself, for sure. Fighting for keeping the life that you lived before. I think it's like what's comfortable, and fighting for that mall and the safety, and then it like crumbling at the end, I think was a big metaphor for the entire thing. Can we talk about meeting with her old friends? I felt like it was supposed to be you're in an abusive relationship talk, but we didn't connect to the friends. It felt weird. That's a good point. Because the friends aren't supposed to be likable, but at the same time, they do offer like I don't know. It's like they were like, we care about you. We want you to be safe, but it didn't come across very well.
No. But also it seemed as though like the friends were never really that close to her to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely weren't supposed to side with the friends, but maybe we should have, because like instead of giving them the personalities they did have, they could have been the friends that were like, oh no, you're in trouble, and we actually do want to help you. But I think like a big thing to me was Shell becoming her truest self, and like moving on from the relationship she used to be in and the job she used to have, and like finding her own purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wish that was the takeaway at the ending rather than her receiving a leaf to eat. Like, I don't know the point of that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Was the leaf a part of that plant? Like,
yeah, I
was
think that the leaf was part of Baby. I think. No?
Wait, but wasn't the leaf also connected to Nev, or am I crazy?
Well, it like made her think of Nev, I thought, but like I thought it was a part of Baby's, like it was part of the plant.
But I think that's because Baby consumed Nev.
Right.
And so when she was gifted the leaf, it was Nev and Baby in one. But so is that Jen being manipulated by Baby? Because Jen is in the lab with the plant. I actually never thought about this perspective. I don't know why I didn't think about it. That Jen protecting the leaf, protecting the plant, and then sending it to her, maybe that is Baby. Baby's being like, oh, I want to be inside her again. Like, I want to fuck with Shell still.
Still controlling.
Because Jen accepted Baby at the end. Because the whole book, it was like, Jen doesn't fuck with the baby. Or Baby. But at the end, she does. I literally just read it.
Well, I think her purpose was, I think it was because Nev was in it that Jen felt she had to protect the plant because it's part Nev now. So she was like,
she's also like a flower scientist or whatever.
Yeah, but she was like, I'm going to take the plant and I'm going to make sure it can't harm anybody, but I'm also going to make sure it lives because I want to protect the love of my life, I guess.
Yeah. The real love story was between Nev and Jen. Oh, no!
Wait, it is queer. Wait.
Lesbians, come back. Come back.
I thought that it manipulated Jen to get to Shell. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I thought it was just like a loving thing. It was like, here's a plant. But why did she eat it?
Wait. Somebody just said something about like how she finally got to eat the ones that she loved, and I was like, that's a
Oh my god.
It was like you said the name of the movie.
Wait.
Oh. And that's why there's two eyeballs on the cover. That's what somebody just said in the chat. And they're different colored eyes.
Oh, because
it did say there was a moment at the end that said if you looked at the plant, you saw two eyes. But I still thought that wasn't true. I didn't think that Nev could actually be like fully absorbed by Baby. I thought Baby just killed her and wanted to think that they were one. Mm-hmm. I just don't like that we didn't get any answers about Baby, where Baby came from, how Baby became a thing. Because in the movie, he's an alien. It's like it shows him like coming from another planet.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was weird, but it also makes sense because like this is surrealism.
There's just a few things about the book that I personally wouldn't do. Me personally.
Yeah, I would not make many of the same decisions that the characters make. Is there anything that you would change about the book? It's so funny because like I did like this. I think a 3.5 is a good rating. I think it's because I loved the writing. I really did enjoy myself as far as like what we were talking about. I just wanted to have more fun with it, I think. But it's so easy to think about the things I would change at the same time. So it's so hard. I feel like we're mostly more ranting than anything else, but I did like this book. Like I did. Did we talk about everything we would change? I want more graphic deaths.
Yeah, more horror. More horror in general.
More camp.
More gay.
More gay.
Maybe in the recommendation section, we can talk about some books that might satisfy. First, I want to know, would you read from this author again?
Yes.
Have you read from this author before? Neither of you have? Okay.
No, I thought this was a debut for some reason.
No. I read this book called, the reason I chose this book is she has written something called Other Words for Smoke that is gay, and it's so good. It's YA, and it's about consumption again, but it's like the house. Like there's something weird in this house, and it catches on fire. It's so good. I love it, and I want more people to read it because it's like so underread. It has under 2,000 ratings on Goodreads, which is crazy.
Wow.
Is it a novel?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would read from this author again. I think it would take a very particular premise that would really intrigue me to get me to read this author again. Because I think my biggest thing was the writing in this book. I just really didn't feel connected to anything that I was reading. So I don't know if this author's writing is for me. But I guess in the future, if she came out with a book that sounded especially interesting to my taste with what I like, then maybe I'd give her another shot. Yeah.
Especially gay.
Yeah, especially gay. Emphasis on the
like,
gay.
This is gay.
Yeah.
No, I will. I mean, she writes beautifully, in my opinion. I really like. I love the write. I think it was the best part about the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I would need like concrete proof of sexuality. I just keep going back.
Yeah.
No homosexual. I think they know there were homosexuals.
I watched a quick interview with her, and she said she's currently working on a book about tabletop role-playing games and being cruel to your friends.
My favorite thing.
That to me sounds like kind of like Jumanji, like horror. Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't know what but it sounded interesting. I think I would read it.
No,
this is her first
to,
adult book.
Now we need Jumanji horror. Like, that's...
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
That was such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. I love Little Shop of Horrors. I wish it had been more fun. Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. When I say Jumanji, but horror, Jumanji is horror. Like, that's a scary ass movie.
Could be scarier though.
Could be way scarier.
Yeah. Okay. Any similar books, movies, anything that you want to recommend to the people before we leave?
Yes. I have one. It kind of reminded me of the narration style, but I actually loved this book and I gave it 5 stars. So I would recommend Walking Practice.
Okay.
This one is a horror novella, and I believe it's a Korean translated novella, and this one is about a shape-shifting alien who comes to Earth and starts, eating people using a dating app. And the narration style of like reading from baby's perspective kind of reminded me of the alien's perspective in this book, but I thought, at least in my opinion, that this one worked so much better and was like more interesting, and it's very gory horror. Like, this one delivers on the horror stuff. There's a lot of like body stuff, and it was just really great. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it, and I thought there's some really cool translation stuff in this book that the translator talks about at the end, and there's like cool drawings all throughout the book of the aliens. And
I do have that on my TBR. And I don't know if I would like it or not, but I'm interested. Maybe I need to read it for Summerween. The way I don't have a TBR set for Summerween is so unlike me.
You're like,
so
this for Summerween, this for
Summerween. I got it.
This one would be good because it's a novella. It's only like 160 pages and it's quick. And the audiobook is really good too. The audiobook is fantastic because there's some pages that look like this, like that.
Oh, okay.
So the audiobook is cool to listen to if you're following along. But yeah, I love this.
Okay, I got 2 of them. I forgot to prepare for this question. Okay. If you want to be unsure about whether people are gay, but also actually read horror.
Sure.
Yes.
The Eyes of the Best Part is so good. It's like they're like lesbians, but at the end they're like, I'm so glad we're friends.
But that's also one about consumption for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but she's eating eyeballs from men.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
Yeah.
Who among us? There's like a creepy white dude, so that's fun. And then The Ruins. This is like the daddy of plant horror, and I don't think Gabby or you, Kayla, like this book.
I haven't read it. This is one that in our live show you told me I had to read.
I DNF'd it.
Gabby.
It's because there's no paragraphs and the chapters are so freaking long.
Bro, listen. Gabby, you need to listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, I'll audiobook it.
It's so good. This is like killer plants, but like annoying people being killed in horrific ways. It's awesome.
I always hear it compared to The Troop. Everybody says The Ruins is a lot like The Troop, and The Troop is like one of my favorite books ever. So I've been hearing since like the dawn of time, like I need to give The Ruins another chance.
The Ruins is better. Like The Troop is like a poor man's The Ruins, in my opinion. It's like for poor people.
How could you say that about Gabby's favorite?
What? Sorry. The Ruins is like Daddy Warbucks, you know? I'm Annie.
I saw some mentions of Bloom, which I agree with because it's like plant centric and it's a little, cannibalistic. But I really wanted to make sure I recommended some actual like plants that were eating people. And I didn't have any. Shockingly,
I was going to say, were there lots of them?
This is not something that really exists on my shelves, but I do have a sentient plant. It is A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. This is so gay.
Ooh, and it matches your shirt, kind of.
Like, this I recommend to everybody. It's not really on the horror side, but it's like, it's like a gothic vibe. It's about these two men who create a daughter out of their plants, and then she goes on to have her own relationships, and they have to deal with like the morality of having created this plant person. It also reminded me of like a little bit of Monstrilio, because a sentient object turns into a real person. Plant stuff, if you like plant horror, you would probably like Follow Me to Ground and Wilder Girls. This one's also gay. This one is about like burying bodies to heal them in the ground. I love nature-based horror, so I had a couple of those. And then I was thinking, if you really like Baby's perspective and just like the fucked up man of it all, For Your Own Good as a mystery book, maybe you'd be into, because this man is just like insufferable. The way that he's convinced he's just like the best and so smart and everyone else sucks and he's going to kill everybody. Those are my recommendations. Now I want to see if there's anything else.
There's a T. Kingfisher book. What's it called? It's like
What Was the Dead?
No. The Home one, where it's like there's like a bird on the cover.
Oh, A House with Good Bones.
Yeah. The mom is like a plant person kind of ghost thing. That's like kind of planty.
Plant person ghost thing.
The technical term.
Yeah.
See, nobody has the recommendations because there is no book quite like this.
Yeah, it is unique. That's for sure.
Like, it's a plant. It's a proper plant. It's not like a plant that becomes a person or a person that becomes, it's just like a plant. We're hearing from a plant's perspective. How fucking strange was this book?
Although Julie said Hazelthorn.
Ooh,
it's cool. That's from the same author as Don't Let the Forest In. It comes out later this year.
I thought so. I was like, that's not out yet, right?
Mm-mm.
There's also the new Mira Grant book that I have not read, but there's a plant on the cover.
Yeah, Overgrowth. I think I'm gonna read it during Summerween.
Ooh, let me know what you think of it.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully it's great. It's like alien stuff.
Yeah, maybe alien
sacrifice. Semiosis, I've heard of. It does have sentient plants. Okay. I was also thinking like maybe like Annihilation or The Need by Helen Phillips. Like those are like, there's planty kind of stuffs. Technically, Day of the Triffids is a killer plant. Interesting.
Ooh, Overgrowth is alien plants. 5 stars.
Yeah. And as long as we get an answer for where the plant came from, that's what I need. That is definitely what I need. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up so everybody can get on with their lives. Gabby has a very long live show coming up today.
Yeah. In like 15 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay. Here's the ending is me saying next month we're reading With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I think Gabby might be also reading this for her.
Hopefully it's good. Oh my god, I'm so scared.
Are you doing a live show with your sister and mom again?
Yeah, with my mom and my sister.
Okay, nice. Jordan, is this on your radar?
I hate Riley Sager.
I was gonna say Jordan's like no.
We'll let you know if it's trash or not.
I've read so many of his books and I never like any of them. I don't get it. I want to like them, but I can't. He's insane.
I think if I don't like this will be the last Riley Sager that we read for the book club, because we've read him every year. And there's been a couple like real wins that I keep committing to it. But I think I might need to stop because the people are not vibing. But we'll see. So if you check our Fable book club, which is hopefully linked in the description, you can find a chat about this that will start. Maybe I'll start it tomorrow. And then I'll see you in the live show at the end of the month with that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate you making the time for me today. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.